So much better if I drove a Cadillac. Well, Elvis, he had it all. They say he was the king, but look how happy he was when he split the scene.
We all need some strategies for living. So, are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
They're ready.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into Strategies for Living here on 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. I'm Dr. David McMillian. He is Jimmie Bryant, Ph.D. That means he produces, he hosts, and he directs.
That's right. And if I could, I'd like to wish my lovely wife, Maudie.
I'd like to wish your lovely wife, Maudie, too.
An early birthday. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you. Yeah, by this time she's probably cringing, so I won't do it as a birthday present to her.
No,
I won't do the whole
happy
song.
Birthday.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Hey, Maudie, thank you for all that you do, and I'm glad you've had another trip around the sun, and
that's right.
Look forward to sharing a lot more with Jimmie and you.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, there you go. Y'all got special plans for the birthday weekend?
Nope, just installing subfloor.
What a romantic guy this is, since I've got my lovely wife, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillian. See, you thought that I could do the romantic stuff, but I mean,
I think Jimmy's got me beat over there.
He takes the cake, doesn't he?
He's got the floor.
I do what I can.
Oh, he's got the floor. Oh,
see what I did there?
Yeah.
Oh, but
that's why she gets paid the big bucks.
That's
okay?
exactly right. Well, I generally begin with a question.
Yeah.
And so I'll do that this evening because I want to talk about some ways. I was reading a blog from Stephen Acheson. He's the author of a book, in addition to his blog, he's written a book. It's a pretty good one called The Belief Principle. But I came across his blog. He's got a lot to offer. One of the offerings was 100 ways to develop your mind. And we certainly won't be able to get to 100 ways today, but we'll get to some.
It sounds like he's got something to offer.
Yeah, so we'll toss these around and see where we can go with them.
Okay.
And when we come back, you've actually got you've got an acronym for mind.
I do,
don't you? Yeah. So
it's a work in progress.
We'll play with that a little bit too here. Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We are presented by the Robinson Film Center. We're presented by Azalea Cleaners, by Pintail Roofing,
Roof.
by Learning Rx, by Hempress, Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, and by the Shreveport Little Theater. Back in a moment, we're going to talk about ways that we can develop our mind. That's today here on Strategies for Living. Welcome in. Welcome into 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Welcome into Strategies for Living. Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillian, and we're talking about the mind today and ways to develop your mind. So you've come up with an acronym. It's actually, I guess it would be more, we should say it was kind of downloaded to you because, you know.
Yeah, we were actually at Gary Renard's
presentation the last time he came. The author of Disappearance of the Universe.
Right, we were there.
Came to Shreveport, several months ago? Back in August, almost a year ago. Yeah. And while you were listening to Gary, this just kind of went.
Yeah, and you were taking notes, and I stole your pen and wrote it down because it just felt so powerful. It was like, okay, I don't know what this is. So one thing that I thought about when you're talking about ways to develop the mind, my question to you was, well, what is it?
Yeah.
Right? And that's what came to me,
Mirrored infinite network dimensions.
Mirrored infinite network of dimensions.
Mirrored infinite network of dimensions.
Yes.
And Jimmie's quote is, that's
gnarly.
That's
gnarly.
I like that word.
I love
good.
it. I love it.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Well, but when you think about the mind, isn't the mind
Gnarly.
a gnarly thing?
Well, right.
That's right.
I mean, and now, let's throw this out into the conversation right away, because some people are going to listen and they're going to say, well, they're talking about the brain. And no, we're not. The mind is not the brain.
No.
Please go. Please more. Tell me more.
Well, okay.
So, the way I look at it, the brain is the receptor.
Okay.
If we've got the radio, okay, that's the brain. Is the
It's
radio?
like the radio
is the
set.
device.
Yeah.
Okay.
That tunes in to the mind.
Okay.
But
And I
here's
don't
the
even
gnarly
know-
part about it. I mean, radio, if we're using radio waves as the metaphor, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Radio waves are all around us.
Absolutely.
All the
we
time.
can't pick them up unless we have the correct set. 710 AM is sending out a signal. 96.5 FM is sending out a signal.
Yeah.
1017
Right.
FM sending out a signal, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera.
Right.
But and they're all around us, and they're always there, and we can prove they're always there because if you have the proper set to tune in,
You can pick it up.
You can pick it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know if reducing the brain to a radio is even doing it justice. I think I might say it's a computer.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're still kind of playing with this acronym.
The
Yeah.
brain
Yeah.
is the computer because it has Bluetooth and Wi-Fi capabilities, right? So we can pick up on several different types of frequencies.
Yes.
From light waves from our eyes, right?
Yeah.
Sound waves
Yeah.
from the ears.
Yeah.
And I don't know
Yes.
what you would call the receptor for thought or for the mind, right? But that's there,
Yeah.
okay? And that's
Yeah.
part of the brain.
That's
We can
part-
also program it, right?
Most
Absolutely.
definitely. Most definitely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Just like a computer, okay, flipping, switching to that analogy.
Yeah.
I can go get a wonderful computer. Jimmie gives me $10,000 and says, go to Best Buy and get the best computer you can. I'm a big time radio producer, so here's 10 grand.
Right.
I'm going to come back with a pretty dadgum good a piece of hardware for you. Am I not?
You will.
All right.
Yes, you will.
But let's pretend something. Let's pretend that I know how I'm buying you a Windows based, which is basically, DOS, right?
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm buying you a Windows based piece of equipment.
Okay.
And let's say that I really want to kind of mess with you a little bit, right?
Gonna have some fun with me.
Yeah. And so most of us don't know how to program in DOS, but let's just pretend that I do.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And so you've given me the 10 grand. I've gotten your great computer. I've delivered it to you. And you can't wait to use it, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And you sit down to use it, and every time you open the word processor, it plays Beethoven's Fifth Symphony
Oh,
at
no.
max volume.
Oh,
Okay,
no.
and then let's say that you can't figure out how to turn it off because you didn't turn it on, right? It's just built in. Then let's say you start using, let's say Word, okay?
Yeah.
And I've programmed into DOS every time he hits an S, show it as a Z. Every time he hits an A, show it as an X. And I do certain little things like that. It wouldn't take you long to call me back and say,
Something's wrong here.
Yeah, well,
Something's up.
This is a piece of crap. Take it back
We
wherever
can't do
you got
anything
it.
with this.
Yeah, exactly. But here's the deal, and here's where the programming comes in, because it's not the computer.
Nope.
It's not the computer at all. It's what I've programmed into the computer. Mm-hmm. And as above, so below. Computer is a great analogy for this. What we are somewhere between body, mind, spirit, and
right.
Yeah.
And we try to disentangle, to separate mind from brain, and from body and from spirit. And it's almost like trying to define the shoreline, right?
Yeah.
By either just the sand or the water.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's just some stuff to chew on as Jimmie's brain goes. All right, so we're going to talk about some ways to develop this gnarly thing called the mind. And we'll throw out some of what Stephen Atchison suggests. I love the number one suggestion. Okay?
Okay.
Do the thing you fear the most. Isn't that? Yeah. If there's one thing that will change your thoughts quicker than anything else, it's facing your fears. So do the thing that you fear the most.
Getting
I
right
love
to
that.
it.
That's good, yeah.
I love that. Here's another one. Stand up for yourself. A lot of people have difficulty. In fact, maybe even we would say most, maybe, have difficulty standing up for themselves. The first time you do it can be very empowering, and your thoughts about yourself will change forever when you decide to stand up for yourself.
I see such a broad spectrum of that too, like all these different ways. I don't think of standing up for yourself just as this like traditional I won't take that anymore. Like there's a lot more nuance to it.
It can be quiet.
Yeah.
It can be very quiet.
Speaking of that, let me give you the next one. Now, you're not supposed to do that on radio, right? You're not supposed to. What did I do? I stopped talking.
Yeah.
That's the next one.
Get quiet.
It's great to just be silent for a little while.
Be still.
Yeah. Our thoughts, when we're silent for a little while, when we stop talking in this age of, I don't know.
Constant chatter.
feeling
Age
pressured.
of noise.
Yeah, feeling pressured to talk. It's like we think we have to, but if you stop talking, your thoughts turn inward, and we can begin to appreciate ourselves just a little more, maybe.
Well, and you can start to observe your thoughts.
Ooh.
And then you recognize that you are not your thoughts, right?
This is a good place. Yeah, I want to come back there.
Okay.
Let's take a break. And because
I was on a roll here.
I know. We'll get right back there, but I'm going to the theater right now. Yeah, 101 years it's been going on. American theater at its best. Where? The Shreveport Little Theater, 812 Margaret Place in Shreveport. Anything goes. That's the Cole Porter musical. In fact, it's the summer musical at Shreveport Little Theater. It starts on July the 21st.
Not many days left.
Don't have many days left. This runs through the 30th. Everybody always looks forward to the summer musical at Shreveport Little Theater, and it always sells out. So you need to go get your tickets right now, ShreveportLittleTheater.com. While you're there, take a look at the fantastic 102nd season We're talking Always Patsy Cline. We're talking My Way. We're talking Winter Wonderettes. We're talking 5 women wearing the same dress. We're talking Dial M for Murder. We're talking Jimmy Buffett's Escape to Margaritaville. Wow. It is. It definitely is American theater at its best at 812 Margaret Place in Shreveport, ShreveportLittleTheater.com. Just a wee bit of strategies for living.
Yes.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back into 1017 FM, 710 kilo. Lauren's over here, just kind of,
Hi, Mr. McMillian.
Yeah, I wish we were on the other. If we were on the other side of the day, I could say top of the morning to you. Top of the morning to you.
It just feels good.
Yeah, it does. It does. Welcome back. We're talking Jimmie Bryant, LPC, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. We're talking about ways to develop your mind. You were on a roll, and I stopped you. Let me get you back there. You were beginning to talk about observing thoughts.
Okay, and what was the strategy there?
But it's to stop talking, to get quiet.
Oh, to get still.
And you could turn inward.
So you could stop and start observing your thoughts, right?
Right.
And if you can observe your thoughts, that means that you're not.
And for some people, that's a novel. Right? For some people, that's a novel concept, and I think it is because we are under so much pressure to talk. Because we're in a talking world.
Well, and another phrase I like to use sometimes is, we are not our thoughts. We have thoughts.
Yeah, that's
right. we don't have thoughts, but thoughts have us.
Thoughts have us. Yeah.
Thoughts have us as the receiver.
And that we are the receiver. That's right. So, if we can get quiet and we can learn to take, and this for most of us, I think this takes some practice, some discipline. We can take a mental step back. This is the power of meditation. This is the power of centered prayer. Centering prayer, where you get the mind quiet and step back, and you can observe those thoughts and realize, wait a minute, I'm not them.
Right. And some people get intimidated by the idea of having to quiet your mind.
Right.
Because, that's very difficult. And I'm going to argue, you can't do that if it's just your first time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
That's true.
The idea is just to step back and just watch them. Put them on a screen and watch the thoughts go across.
Right.
Without judgment.
Right.
And that's a biggie.
And
That's a big step in itself.
The key is without judgment.
Yeah.
And we have to learn to do that.
Right.
And I agree. I think it's just about impossible to do it the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with practice, we can achieve it, and it is so potent when we do, because then we realize, most of us, the vast majority of us, believe we are what we think, but we're not what we think. We are our thoughts.
That would be like calling the painter his painting.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. We are the chooser.
We are the consciousness behind our thoughts.
Right.
That can observe it, right?
And it's profound once you have that experience, you know.
And I mean, you realize how often, you just allow the thoughts to take you off.
Right.
And I mean, if you think about one of the visualizations you can use is to imagine the thoughts like cars on the highway, right? They're driving past.
They just go by.
Think how silly it would be if every single car that drove past you just jumped on and let it take you wherever it was going, right?
I like that.
Yeah. That's exactly. Yeah. But isn't that what a lot of us do?
Oh yeah.
With our thinking?
Until we realize that we're doing it.
Yeah.
When you describe it that way, I think that it exposes the absurdity of it really well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and to know that it's okay, because most of us do that and we're not taught that
we have
we're
to learn
that we're anything else.
We have to learn a different way.
And that's where the non-judgmental part comes in.
Right.
So
we're talking ways to develop this mind of ours. Here's another one. Take a walk around an art gallery. You might not even appreciate art, or you might not participate in it, but it's great to see the thoughts of others. What is art? It's thoughts on canvas.
It's expressions.
Yeah. So it's when you walk around an art gallery, you're seeing the thoughts of others on canvas, and it can give you even a tiny glimpse of what goes on in somebody else's mind, the artist's mind. Yeah.
It's gaining a different perspective.
This is one that would be challenging, but I'm going to throw it out here anyway, okay? Blindfold yourself for a day. For a day.
Okay.
For a day, walk in the shoes of a blind person. One full day. Stephen Atchison says it will change forever the way you think about life.
Well, you're right. That is a hard one.
It is a very hard one, but when you stop to think about it, wow. I mean, I think he's right. It would change how you think about life.
Would alter so much of your perception and the other people's perception of you. You also
because so much of us interact through our
Yeah.
vision, through our sight.
Yeah.
We're a very visual society.
For my multicultural class in counseling, one of our assignments was to do something we had never done before, or to put ourselves in a completely new place.
Right.
And that was actually one of the suggestions for the project.
To blindfold
Yeah.
yourself for a day.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome. Here's another one, but it's not a day. This one's for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Stand on a chair for 5 minutes each day. Each day. Stand on a chair.
Interesting.
5 minutes per day. What you're building self-discipline, and it's a great way to take control of your mind and therefore your thoughts. If you just get up and stand on a sturdy chair, your mind will your mind's going to be wondering what the hell's going on?
Right.
And it will try to force you to get off the chair. Okay?
Okay.
That's what your mind's going to do. So, what you're doing is you're disciplining your mind, and that's a great way to start changing your life. Yeah.
I mean, 5 minutes, that's nothing.
Yeah.
You say, you and I say that. Okay. Let's play with that for a second,
Okay.
Jimmie. Okay, that's nothing. And yet, it's just like meditating. If I say, I can quieten my mind for 5 minutes. That's nothing. I can stand on a chair for 5 minutes. That's nothing. But if we try to do it, I think he's exactly right. You know, our mind will begin immediately saying, what the hell are you doing?
Well, I guess it's kind of a, pardon the pun, but a step stool to meditation in a way.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Right? Because, I mean, if you're standing on a chair, you can't really do much else, right? You can't walk around.
Yeah.
So it forces you to be in your mind.
Yeah.
In a way. And have a new perspective.
Yeah.
I guess.
Here's another one. Dance when there's nobody there.
Oh.
Strange sensation to dance on your own. But, you know, when you do that, yeah, I probably look like a dog having a seizure when I do it.
I will not confirm.
Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart.
I did.
Yeah.
I did.
But it's a great way to let go of inhibitions. You know,
Yeah.
just dance. Yeah.
I've done that since I was little.
Yeah, and you can work on your
Yeah.
moves.
I mean, I don't.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Give money to somebody unexpectedly. Whether it's on the internet or in the street, give a larger than normal donation to somebody. You know, and this can be done so easily now with like sites like GoFundMe. You know, jump on GoFundMe and see what, you know, see what
if
jumps
you're feeling
out
of
at
interest.
you.
I
Yeah.
mean, you could easily find a number of nonprofits who will make it very easy for you to help them out. But that are good, legitimate,
Right.
you know, entities,
exactly.
you know.
Again, Atchison says this can be liberating, and your thoughts about money will change even for a few moments. And that's really all it takes to start the process of changing your life, because money's so big a part of our lives. When we change the way we relate to money and think about money, we're going to change it. We're going to change our life.
We can't help but
Strengthen your thoughts about yourself. So reinforce your thoughts about what's good about your good points.
This one makes me think of a thought I had earlier in the show. There are a few parallels with yesterday and Dr. Bragg.
Yeah.
It just made me think about that again.
Yeah.
You know, what was this one again?
Strengthen your thoughts about yourself. So what are you good at? So if you're good at talking, tell yourself that. Remind yourself often that you're good at talking. If you're good at math, tell yourself that often. If you're good at science, tell yourself that often. So what you're doing, you're reinforcing and you're strengthening your self-image, you know.
Your inner value.
Your inner
gold, what you bring to this world.
Yeah, and that's what Dr. Rutherford was talking about with her, her brag. Yeah. And her name happens to be Bragg, so
It was a great show.
Take a risk. You think about how boring life would be if you hadn't ever taken a risk. So take a risk. Do something that you didn't want to do because you thought you wouldn't be any good at it. What this does is it totally smashes through boundaries of your own comfort zone, and again, your life changes.
Well, and if you take new risks, you make yourself eligible for new rewards.
There you go.
And new
I like that.
experiences.
Yes, I like that. This next one is easier for some of us than others of us. This one would probably be easier for Jimmie, for you and I, than maybe for Lauren. Okay. And it's talk to a stranger. So it's breaking, and so you and I are more extroverted in terms of our energy is pointed outward. Lauren is more introverted; her energy is pointed inward. But what this is it's about breaking our comfort zone. But just speaking, just saying hi, just saying good morning, good afternoon to someone that you don't know.
Well, anytime you speak, you're giving energy. You're extending a possible connection.
Yes.
Right. So even if they don't say much back, you are getting some kind of energetic perspective in
Yep.
return.
Yep.
Right.
This makes me think about another mantra I've heard in professional sports over the last few years, which is just some of the championship winners have said it's important to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That way, when when pressure ratchets up, nothing's changed for you.
Well,
Yeah.
that's where growth happens.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have to. It's on that learning edge, that comfort, the edge of your comfort zone is where learning and growth happens.
That's exactly right. And it's really about the only place it can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you're comfortable with it, that means you're familiar and you already know it.
That's right.
It's within your zone.
You have to push yourself.
To expand your mind.
I can relate to this next one. Read a book by an author that you most avoid. So, reading books by authors that we avoid gives us the chance to take control of our minds, and it lets us see another side to our thinking. If you go to the library or you go to the bookstore, if you do that routinely, some authors, and there's some authors that you gravitate to. There's also going to be authors, I'll stay away from them. Yeah. So go to one of those authors, because it forces you then to ask yourself, why do I avoid XYZ author in the first place?
It makes me think about the spectrum of perspective I talk about.
Yeah.
And doing that kind of opens your vision up just a little bit more.
Yeah.
You can just see a few hertz farther, by doing things like that.
Yep.
And what's that Abraham Lincoln quote about, if I don't like someone, I just don't know him well enough?
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
That might not be the exact wording, but it's
That's
that
good.
message.
Well, if it's not to the exact, I still like the quote, so there you go. We're talking about ways to develop your mind today here on Strategies for Living. One way that you can develop your mind is go see a movie,
Yeah.
That's right.
At a great place to go see a movie in Shreveport, the Robinson Film Center. 15th anniversary. There's 15 candles on the cake. And, the Robinson Film Center does take the cake. 617 Texas Street, downtown Shreveport. There is absolutely no place like it. Abby Singer's Bistro. Watch this. Jimmie, let's go and let's start with the loaded potato crisp, and then let's move on to
It's really not fair when you
let's move on to the duck nachos, and then you're going to order from Abby Singer's Bistro. You're going to order the shrimp and grits. I'm going to order the.
Hey, you gave me that last time.
Oh, okay. Well, then let's give you the we'll give you the crispy salmon this time, and
Okay.
and I'll take the filet mignon with lump crab meat. Lauren's going to have the eggplant parmesan.
Okay,
right?
I'll take
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Definitely.
There's no place like the Robinson. So become a member. Join the crowd. Get discounts on movies. Get concession upgrades. Get bistro deals. Find out what's showing right now at robinsonfilmcenter.org. RFC 617 Texas Street in downtown Shreveport. robinsonfilmcenter.org. And welcome back in. Welcome back into 1017 FM and 710 Keel. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Jimmie Bryant, David McMillian, PLPC Lauren Leon McMillian. We are talking about ways to develop your mind today, ways to stretch. I like this next one.
Okay.
This is one that you probably wouldn't think about. Write an article about yourself. Okay, so let me set this up. Imagine that a newspaper has asked you to write a 1,000-word article about your life and about yourself. And they want to know what motivates you in your life. And so get busy. Write the article. What this does is it helps you put your life into a perspective, and it gets you thinking. Get you thinking about your childhood, get you thinking about growing up, get you thinking about where you are now. I like this.
And another good thing just about writing in general, right, is it makes you slow down.
Yep.
Right? And think slower. And then it's on the page in front of you. You can't ignore that. It's looking back at you.
Yeah.
So you get to analyze.
Yeah. Yeah. Stop contact with your down people.
Down people.
With your down people. Yeah. Most of us probably have some people in our life who we say, man, he drags me down. Man, she drags me down. In other words, they're just negative all the time. Well, stop contact. Honestly, he says, Stephen Atchison says, drop them from your life. They're not serving you, and, you're not serving them either. And they're dragging your thoughts down. So just stop the contact. Makes you stop and say, who are those people for me, right?
Yeah.
Ask for a discount. Ask for a discount. When you buy anything from a shop over $100, ask for a discount. Tell the salesperson that you'd like a 10% discount on the item. And most people are so afraid of doing this, but it's a great way of empowering yourself. And you let go of another inhibition.
Yeah.
And what's the worst thing that could happen?
They say no.
That's
Worst
it.
thing that could happen is you get a no. But is there a chance that you might get a 10% discount?
I think there's a pretty good chance these days.
Yeah.
That you could
yeah.
I mean, or at the very least, you get a laugh.
Yeah.
Right?
There you go.
A connection.
There you go. I like it. Risk embarrassment. Imagine if you had seen the person of your dreams on a bus or at a store, and you didn't do anything about it. How much would you kick yourself in the tail?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This Jim Carrey says, risk being seen.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So, do it. Don't keep it hidden. Just, risk the embarrassment. Say the thought that you would have, and say how attractive or, why you're attracted to this person. And, you never know. You never know. And I'm not restricting this at all to just romantic, right?
Good. Yeah.
I mean, because we're attracted to different people on different levels at different times. And so basically what this is saying is just risk the embarrassment. Stretch.
Yeah. There are people that you have the capacity to do great things with.
Yeah. And who knows what your comment might do for the other person.
Yeah. There you go. Think about what you think is an impossible goal, and then work towards that. Work towards whatever you come up with that this is an impossible goal. If you work towards a goal without expectation, you don't care about the outcome as much. So when you don't care about the outcome, you don't have as much expectation. So work towards what you think is an impossible goal.
Sounds liberating.
Yeah. So many of these are, when you stop and think about it. Here's another one. Practice gratitude. We all know what we don't have in our lives because we spend a lot of time wishing that we had those things, right?
Right.
But are we really thankful for the things that we have? I mean, we live in the greatest country in the world in that even if we are poor, when we compare ourselves to a great percentage of the world, we're rich,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
So spend time every single day being thankful for the good things that we do have in our lives. Practice gratitude.
And practicing gratitude then brings more gratitude into your life.
Yes.
It brings more, if you're focused on the scarcity, you'll see scarcity everywhere.
Absolutely. Do something nice and don't tell anybody. Do something nice and don't tell anybody. We tell others about our acts of kindness to let them know, how nice we are, and
Right.
to seek their approval. If you keep your act of kindness to yourself without ever telling anybody, the feeling of positive energy is going to last much longer. And
Sounds emboldening.
it will impact somebody. I'm just reminded of, I was leaving the radio station. I don't know how long ago this was. You may remember it. I was leaving the radio station, and you wanted a potato or something. And I ran by Wendy's just down the street from the radio station. Right?
Yeah.
And I ran through the drive-thru. And I got up to the, I ordered, Lauren wanted the potato or whatever, and I ordered me a hamburger and French fries or whatever, I forget. But I pulled up, and the person handed me my bag and said, that person in the black truck ahead of you paid for your meal. And I said, what? And then, of course, they had driven off by that time, right?
Yeah.
And, I did notice there was a black truck in front of me, but I have no idea who was in it, or I didn't recognize it. I didn't look at it was just the truck ahead of me at the Wendy's drive-thru, right?
Yeah.
But that's been
a couple of months.
yeah, it's been a while back, and I don't think I'm going to forget that anytime soon, so do something nice and don't tell anybody about it. Share your skills. Everybody has a skill of sometimes, and when you share, it not only has the power to help others, but it also helps you to enhance your own skill even more because you're owning it.
And you're practicing it.
You're owning it. Yeah. And there was one before that's kind of related to this, but I like it. Don't talk, just listen. So enhance your listening skill by not talking when someone is speaking to you. Resist the urge to speak your views when someone is talking to you. Just listen to them.
Listen to hear and to understand rather than listening
Yes.
to respond.
Yes.
Right?
Ask open if you're gonna talk. Ask more open-ended questions at the appropriate time, and you can really listen if you're not formulating the stories in your head when somebody's talking, and you'll make the other person feel great.
And
because you've actively listened to them.
you can't listen and formulate a story in your head.
No.
Very true. Very true. This next one, and it'll be the last one we can do, but it reminds me of you, Lauren, because it's write your future story. So start from the age that you are now and start writing your future life story as you would like it to be. Just make it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Be as outrageous as you want to be, and just write about your ideal life and how you interact with it. Words on paper are powerful, and they can help you. They can help you shape your goals. Yeah. So we didn't get through anywhere near 100 of them, but we got about a quarter. We got about a quarter. Yeah, we did good. This is Stephen Atchison came up with these ideas. He's the author of a book called The Belief Principle. I'm sure you can get it wherever you buy books. His website, if you want all 100 of these, is stephenatchison.co.uk. Apparently, he is over across the pond. stephenatchison.co.uk. And we will be back. We will be back with more Strategies for Living in just a moment. You're just hitting the Irish hot and heavy tonight, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that all right with you?
Well, he's Irish, so.
I'm McMillian, so yeah, I think so. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Jimmie Bryant, or should I say Jimmie O'Bryant.
Yeah.
Lauren Leon McMillian, PLPC, David McMillian. We're talking about ways to develop your mind this evening. Got time for a couple more. Pass on your good books. Some of us, like me, would have a harder time doing this. But think about this. Have you read a good book lately? Have you read something and the book changed your way of thinking or it changed your life in some way? Well, pass that on to somebody else who might benefit.
You know what I'm going to do for you?
What's that?
I'm going to help you out.
Yeah?
And you can just pass them on to me.
You got it.
You can just give me.
I'll pack them up and bring them to you, Jimmie.
Now, honestly, I can't even keep count of how many Road Less Travels by M. Scott Peck that I've given out.
Oh, I mean, you
really
gave me a set. You gave me the set.
I give out a lot of those. The other one I give out a lot are the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Although I had a special edition of it. And I don't remember who was visiting. Somebody was visiting us, and Lauren brought up, the
road list.
The
Four Agreements.
Yeah, the Four Agreements, and she goes and takes it off the shelf and hands it to whoever this was, and I'm going.
I'm sorry, I don't even remember that.
That's okay. It was a practice for me.
Oh Well,
just
happy to oblige.
bite my lip and just say, okay, well,
Hey, it was time for that one to go. That one needed to go somewhere.
I'm expanding my mind.
That's
There you
right.
go. So what are you taking away from this evening, Lauren, Jimmie? What's the takeaway from this evening's program? Developing your mind.
I always really love the reminder to let thoughts pass. Mm-hmm. And I love the car metaphor.
Yeah,
because
I do too.
the absurdity of trying to jump on, run out there.
I do too.
That's great.
Yeah, we may need to write that down. That may need to become a radio show or a book or something. We'll see.
I'd be happy to help with that one.
There you go. If you want more, folks, stephenatchison.co.uk, and his book is The Belief Principle. We've been talking about some things that you can probably find in his book, and you can certainly find it on his blog. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. We do this for you, and we appreciate our sponsors being gracious enough to help us bring it to you.
They're the best. The
Robinson Film Center, Azalea Cleaners, Pintail Roofing, Learning Rx, Hempress, Cannabis with Love, 3766 Uri Drive in Shreveport, and the Shreveport Little Theater. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who would you call? What would you say? And why? Why are you waiting? Make the call. For Jimmie Bryant, for PLPC Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time here on Strategies for Living.
Let me